Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give our honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the elect of the nation of Israel, starting with 144,000, which will be the ruling governing body in the kingdom of heaven. Right? And you also have a lot of the elect here in America, which is the large multitude of Israelites, which would be men, women, and children that will be saved. 2/3 of our people will be destroyed here in America. And you also have the rebels that are scattered abroad that will be destroyed. And you have the elect of Israel that's scattered abroad that will be saved as well. Amongst you tribes who the world willingly and ignorantly calls so-called black, Hispanic, Native American, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Jamaican, Haitian, Cuban, Guatemala, Panamanians. You are all the Israelites. Right, contrary to what the world wants to believe and what a lot of you niggas that don't want to believe, right, that's who you are, right. This is Brother Jeremiah coming back at y'all with a quick lesson. Basically, you know, a MOTB lesson. Article from End Time Headlines. It says how the government plans to monitor, score, and control you through digital wearables. Now, you know, they are already really doing that. I mean, you know, people wear these little watches and stuff like that, right? Or monitors and stuff. You know, they already really doing that. But it's going to come a time to where, you know, these type of things is going to be mandatory. And it's really, the MOTB is the overall goal. The MOTB, right? So, you know, a lot of you camps that's not talking about this, the Lord's not dealing with you. You know what I mean? It's as clear as day of what the MOTB is and what their plans are, and that it's real. It's right here in front of your fucking face. You know? Let me get a scripture, because I already been talking for like 2 minutes. Let's go to the classic Habakkuk chapter 2. And verse 3 it says, for the vision, talking about the prophecy, right, is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak, meaning it shall happen, and not lie. And though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come and it will not tarry, right? And time is speeding up, right? And they say in this article, you know, they want to basically have people do this in 4 years, man. We don't got fucking 4 years, man. Lord willing, you know, because they still do got this thing called Agenda 2030 to where they want to, you know, basically finalize their NWO, you know. But the way time is and the way the Lord is speeding up things, you know, I just did an article on that the other day. There's no way we got 4 years, man. So they gonna have to speed the shit up, right? But let me read the article. It says concerns about the potential misuse of these devices, according to Zero Hedge. Article published on June 16, 2025, titled "The Wearables Trap: How the Government Plans to Monitor, Score, and Control You." This plan exactly, right? And they already track everybody. Everybody got cell phones too, and these cell phones have GPSs in them, chips in them. It's just not inside you. You don't wear a cell phone, but I mean, well, you know, some of these Apple Watches and stuff, yeah, it is like a cell phone because you could use them to talk on them. But you know, they want to make this like a mandatory thing. You know, I'm gonna read it. It says, where was I at? How the government plans to monitor, score, and control you. This plan, promoted under the Make America Healthy Again campaign, could transform wearables into instruments of surveillance, eroding bodily autonomy and privacy. And it's already like that, right? It is already like that, right? You know, these phones, man, when you like, I noticed, like, I know I ain't the only brother that notices, like, when you talking about certain things, like, these phones be listening to what we be saying, because I've noticed when I be talking about certain things, I notice it'll pop up on my phone, like, as an ad or something. Like, I'm like, that's how you know these phones be listening to what we be saying. And, like, say if you was on a different app, and you was just scrolling or you look something up, if you go on a different app or a different site, that same ad's gonna pop up that you was just looking at, and those are two different sites. So everything's already fucking being tracked. They already know. You know? It says the article argues that Kennedy's vision which is the elites, man. The elites of Esau, Edom. They been wanting these things to come to pass and happen, which aims to have every American wearing biometric health tracking devices within 4 years, which is the chip, man. People already wearing these Apple Watches and shit. What else? What else can he's talking? What else is he talking about? They using the word wearable. Well, you ain't wearing it if it's inside you. Inside you, if you wearing something that's on the outside of your body. The C-hip is gonna be on the inside. So what else is he talking about? Right? They just saying that to make it sound good, to make it not sound as bad. Right? That's why the scriptures tell us to in second Esdras 12, or not second Esdras 12, Sirach 12, right? In verse 10 it says, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. So, you know how iron is good for a while, and it takes a while to rust, but eventually it will. And that's like the so-called white man, right? He might sound cool, he might, make things sound good, but eventually, you're gonna see what he's really about. Right? Verse 11, though he humble himself and go a crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. And that's this man, And that's why I said there's concerns about it. They already been misusing everything. Right? They when you get these phones and you set them up and stuff like these iPhones and Galaxies, these smartphones and shit. You gotta like click the boxes and shit, and when you sign up for different apps and stuff, you gotta click these boxes to say you agree. And nobody actually reading that shit. You don't know what's really in there that you really agree to. You just buying the phone or using it for whatever reason. You ain't really reading what's in there because there's a lot in there. So, they put it in there, but they like put a whole bunch of shit in there and put a whole bunch of big words in there because they know that you ain't gonna read it. And then you confused about why your phone's doing this, doing that. Because like, I got an iPhone and my phone, that shit be updating and shit. And I don't like this shit, updating, And it's trying to update to the iOS 18, and it be saying install now or later, and I always click later. So I don't got it because I ain't trying to do all that shit, we're scanning my face and shit and all that. I'm not doing all that, But let me see. But this is where everything's going, man. This is where everything's going. Right? This time is coming. They want to monitor, everything. Inside and out. Right? Don't think it's for a good reason, because they say so. No. Right? The fact that they want to so-called even make this mandatory in the first place, like they care about you, but yet they putting all types of shit in the food and spraying shit in the air. Nigga, these people, it's all about food control. That's all it is, man. If these people actually cared about their own people and people in general, they wouldn't be doing the shit that they do every day that affects people in everyday life. So, we're not hearing, oh, well, it's good for you. No, we're not hearing none of that. Let me go to Psalms 55 in verse 21. Right? And it reads, it says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter. Right? But woe was in his heart. You see, and that's this man. He loves bloodshed. He loves to see people suffer. Right? And he loves to have control over their suffering. Right? Which war was in his heart, meaning in his mind. His words were softer than oil, yet they were drawn swords. So, they might tell you how good it is and, the benefits and all that, but they're not going to tell you the effects at all. Right? But that's why you got to trust in YASHAMIAHLA with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. Right? Because if you don't trust in the Lord, then you're going to lean upon this man. Right? It says, Proverbs 3 and verse 5, it says, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, meaning all your mind, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. You see? So don't trust in this man. The scriptures tell you not to trust in the man. Right? Let me see. Jeremiah. Right? These devils, man, they pull, they use, they all say, quote certain scriptures and stuff like that to make it seem like, God is with us, because if he's allowing it to happen, God, the Lord does control everything, but it's a test, It's Jeremiah 17 in verse 5. It says, "Thus saith the Lord, cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departed from the Lord." You don't need a damn device to track your health. You can track your own health. All you gotta do is, take be healthy. Eat healthy, eat right. You know your body. You know if something's hurting, something don't feel right. Um, if you need to hit the gym more or hit the gym at all. You know. If your body is not the same, and you gotta change and what to fix. Why do you need to wear something to track all that? And why do they have to make it mandatory like they care about you? They don't care about you, Jake. It's all to, like I said, to control you, right? It says, what does it say? These devices capable of tracking metrics like heart rate, glucose levels, sleep patterns, activity, collect vast amounts of imminent data, including indicators of stress, depression, and early illness. And like I said, it sounds real good because it sounds like it can prevent a lot of things. But like I said, you wake up every day, and you know what your body feels like. You don't need a device to track that, right? Because it can track it, but it ain't gonna heal it or anything. All it is just gonna tell you, when something's gonna happen. But you like I said, you can feel your body, and you can see your body. You can see changes if you got changes or whatever, and then you can go from there, right? You don't need the shit that Esau's pushing out here, man. This is Revelation 13 and 16. It says, "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand." So when he just said what it said, he aims to have every American, which is going to be mandatory throughout the whole world, not just America, Babylon. But this proves it. What else is this talking about? He calls it all, both small, rich, and great. It's talking about every person, no matter what status they have in the society, no matter if they rich, poor, free, and bond. It's not talking about no damn spiritual markers. It's something physical, right? It says, "And that no man might buy or sell, save that he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name." You see? So what else is it? The elders have always been right, right? And it ain't gonna change, And when you Jakes take this, man, you gonna be fucked, man. You gonna get boils. You gonna get all types of shit, man. It's all types of shit's gonna be wrong with you that you ain't gonna be able to fix or change. Let me get this. Is Revelation 16:2. It says, "And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worship his image." Because when his image is his ways, right? And ultimately, if you take that, see him, you believe in his system, and you have faith in it. That's what his image is. His philosophies, his ways of life. We don't believe in his ways of life, so therefore we don't have the mindset of, oh, I'm gonna take that. Lord willing, we don't. And I'm saying right now as a man, I'm saying no. There's never a mindset that's always been the same. It ain't gonna change, Lord willing. But that's it, man. I just want to do an update on it. MOTB update. Hey, the Lord, He's making things happen, man. Keep the faith. Pray to the Lord that He increases your wisdom, knowledge, understanding, right? And that the Lord, encamps His AHDAWAM around about us, His angels, around your loved ones, brothers that got little ones, wives and all that. And the brothers and elders, pray for them too, because we gonna need it, So I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, YASHAMIAHLA, YASHARAHLA. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Till next time, I want to say, Abba, Shalom.